Every year, restaurants, whether they're in large cities or small towns like the one we live in, face the dreaded January sales slump. If you're not in the restaurant industry, I'll tell you right now, it's really the month that most restaurant owners dread. It can bring a lot of financial shortfalls because people tend to spend all their disposable income during the Christmas holidays, leaving them with a whole lot less to go out with the following month. And in our case, we live in Canada, which is a very cold place, especially this year. We are getting record amounts of snow and the winds are very bitter these days. So that definitely takes out a lot of our senior population who tend not to come out as much. We've learned quite a bit since we've opened in March of 2025, but this is our first January, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, it has been stressful in terms of watching the days on the calendar disappear as we draw closer to this dismal month. It's also stressful for me because this is a sales slump cycle for the other industry that I'm in, which is real estate, but I'll cover that in a future video. For now, I just want to concentrate on how stressful it is for restaurants in January, and also talk about some of the steps we've taken to make sure that we don't feel the hit quite as much, and maybe that'll inspire you to implement the same actions for your restaurant. So first I want to talk about how our first day of January 2026 went, which was yesterday, January 2nd. I'll be honest, I was shocked at how well things actually went. The day started with us getting a very large order from a local veterinary clinic. That was a good omen, definitely a good omen. And then next thing you know, one person after another came in until finally we found ourselves having to turn away a table of 4 and closing early. That is not what we expected. We don't expect that to be the norm at all going through other days of this dreaded month. But I just thought I'd share that. Like it's very odd how things work out, but it did. So let's talk about some of the moves that we pulled in order to make sure that we're okay going through January and not entirely dependent on the high season. One of the first moves we made, which is already paying off in droves, is creating our own online ordering and delivery system for our frozen meals. Now, we're in a small town and we're just a team of 2. We don't wish to hire anyone right now if we can avoid it. And how delivery works is we do not offer it for our service menu. Our service menu largely consists of hot sandwiches, and people love them, but we do not want to be trying to deliver hot meals in the winter time. There's always going to be the factor of people maybe not being home at the time of delivery, and we don't want to find ourselves struggling to keep food warm, piping hot, if you will, for when people receive them. I mean, that's one of the points of delivery, right? So that to us, with just us working as a duo, seemed like a bad idea. But we want to implement delivery because the majority of our small town population is seniors, and seniors would ideally like to have food come to them. So the happy medium was to offer delivery for our frozen meals and our pantry items. So in addition to, say, a frozen butter chicken dish, we also will offer pantry items for delivery. So you can order the butter chicken dish with a jar of honey, a bag of coffee, among other things. And so far, this has taken off better than we thought it would, but it's been a lifeline. And this is one thing that will definitely be carrying us forward. And we plan on continuing this throughout the year. However, we think we might have to suspend it in the summer because that is something that's going to just stretch us to our limit. And like I said, we would ideally like to avoid hiring people, but that is something we will revisit in the summer if it actually works out to hire someone to help prep those meals and deliver them while we focus on the service side of things with tourists in the summer. And then another area in which we are starting to bring in additional money outside of the regular service offerings that we have is events, namely afternoon tea. Loretta, my wife, she is a huge fan of afternoon tea, and at one point, before we even got the idea to open the cafe that we presently have, she mused with the idea of opening an afternoon tea restaurant. Now, I'm not one to ever poo-poo people's entrepreneurial ideas or dreams, but I told her, like, realistically speaking, I don't feel you have the market to sustain a full-time afternoon tea business. However, if you offered afternoon tea as a complement to your regular service offerings, which is what we do, different story. And that theory is being proven true now. It's getting to the point where I want to start hosting other events. For instance, I am a huge fan of tacos. I love tacos and I love making them straight up like Mexican street style. However, the one thing I want to do differently is, like we're doing with the afternoon tea, I want to sell tickets to the events. And the reason I want to sell tickets is because it is a guaranteed income, right? If you just say, hey, come on in Tuesday, we're doing Tuesday tacos, you know, you're just leaving things up to chance. There might be, more snow that day than usual, and people will not show up to your event. And that is the one thing I have to impart to you. If you choose to go the event route, sell tickets. Okay, sell tickets and make sure that you have it in your terms that if people don't cancel within a specified window, in our case for afternoon tea, the window of cancellation is 72 hours. If you cancel within 72 hours, you get a full refund. Anything under 72 hours, sorry, but by that time, we've already purchased all of the ingredients that go into making your meal, and we've spent that precious time making your meal. So on that one token, I just want to specify our previous afternoon tea event, we did have a lady who could not show up. Her friend did, but she didn't. And the solution was simple. We boxed all of the pieces, like all of the savories, everything that she would have gotten if she ate in-house. We put it all in the box, gave it to her friend, and her friend gave it to her later. So she still got what she paid for in terms of the food. She just didn't get what she paid for in terms of the live in-house experience. But that's fine. I mean, everyone was satisfied in the end. So those are two very key approaches we took to making sure that we monetize every possibility we have here in this small town. And I hope that if you also are running a restaurant in a small town, that you are doing the same. You have to explore every conceivable income stream. In fact, it was just the other day that I was telling Loretta, when I find time, another additional revenue stream that I'm going to set up for us that'll be pretty much autopilot. I will partner with a print-on-demand company for t-shirts. And whenever I come up with an idea for a t-shirt design, I'm simply going to have the design made and then put the t-shirt up. It's all going to be automated. If people like the t-shirt, they pay for the t-shirt. The order goes through to the print-on-demand company that will print the t-shirt and then send it to the customer. But, that's going to be a little bit down the line because, like I said 2 times in this video already, we're just a duo. There's a limit as to how much time we have to spare, especially since I'm making these videos. And one of the reasons I'm making these videos is because I'm building a free community for small town entrepreneurs. So if you happen to be a small town business owner, please come join us. The link to that free community is found in the description of this video. I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it has added some valuable ideas for you to use for your own small town eatery. And if you don't own a small town restaurant, no big deal. I just hope that this video has helped give you insights as to how things operate and how perilous January can be to some eateries, not all eateries, of course. I hope this has helped. Thank you very much for watching.